January, I shared with everyone a Pearl Jam song called Wish List. And in that song I was conveying what the lyrics meant, and part of the lyrics was, I wish I was that sentimental thought that you depended on. There are a few statements in life that if we could truly appreciate them, that confusion we have if we're doing what is right or what's wrong or not knowing ourselves, all of that can disappear. One such statement, one such beacon or lighthouse to guide our life is, as you think, so you become. As you think, so you are. As you think, so you do. As you think, so you become. If we could truly appreciate this, literally, every facet of our life will change. And I say every facet because when are we not our minds? We are always our minds other than when we're asleep. So if I change the way I think, I change my life. When I'm eating, I'm thinking. When I'm talking, I'm thinking. When I'm walking, I'm thinking. So if my mind is thinking beautiful thoughts, my walking becomes beautiful. My eating becomes beautiful. My talking becomes beautiful. And if my mind is thinking negative thoughts, all of it becomes negative. I don't know anything that's more practical than changing the way we think so as to change our lives. And right now, we think we are limited, and so we experience limitation. That is what we are thinking right now. And if we slowly unthink that, we will start to unexperience limitations. And this is what Ramana Maharshi is trying to invoke for us through Upadesha Sara, to be free. All of those fears that were mentioned, we've just scratched the surface. There's so many fears that we don't even know or can't even verbalize. All of that we can free ourselves from through invoking the right way of thinking. And Upadesha Sara begins with Karma Yoga, which Swamiji introduced to all of you today, and Swamiji will elaborate upon in the coming days. And yesterday, we began with Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga essentially means seeing the divinity in everyone. We see our names, we see our forms, but do we ever see the fact that we're all existing? We see a body. That person is beautiful. That person's name is this. But do we ever also acknowledge that person is existing? We tend to take for granted what's close to us. If you ask yourself, who do you yell at the most? Who do you get angry at with the most? For most people, the reply will be our parents or our siblings. They are the closest to us, and we take that for granted. Existence is even closer, and we take it for granted. Seeing that essence, that vision of essence, is what Bhakti Yoga is all about. Traditionally, we see the Lord in everyone. Recognize that awareness, recognize that life principle. And we do this. Just like last night during those icebreakers. Right now during the plays. We stop focusing on the names and the forms, and we do recognize the essence. We are all human beings. We are all seekers. We all want to be better. And we're united like that. But how long does it last? It doesn't last very long. That satsanga bhava, that attitude of satsang, somehow, somewhere, slowly dissolves. And we start focusing on the names and forms again. And that name and form starts here. If I'm very conscious about my body, I'm going to be conscious about your body. If I'm conscious about my name, I'm going to be conscious about your name. And that's why I had shared that story about how I am slowly invoking not caring how I look at all. Hence the hair. But that also signifies to me that I don't care how you look either. I'm more concerned with, are you happy? Are you following the purpose of life? Can you sleep at night? Who cares what your name is? Who cares how you look? This is where our vision needs to be. So we have to try to be in satsang as often as possible. This is exactly why we have these samskaras. We have 16 samskaras we're supposed to follow, i.e. having the upanayana, having one's name, the namakarna, getting married, even dying. All of these samskaras, which span from prenatal education, from conception to the cremation ground. We have these 16 samskaras. Why? We have them so our attention is turned towards the divine. That yes, the child is conceived. Great, let's have satsang. Now that the person has passed away, let's have satsang. Let's talk about it. Let's figure it out. For those who were at the Yamunotri camp, this is what the high school class did. They acted out the samskaras, and after each samskara, Divya's sister would yell out, "It's satsang time!" And everyone would run on stage and start participating in satsang. And it was awesome. Because that's exactly what the essence of the samskaras are. Satsang. The same thing goes with why we have so many mantras. Why we have so many activities at those mantras. Why we have so many festivals. It's Deepavali. Okay, let's clean the house, let's be pure, etc., etc. Then it's over. Next, Mahashivratri. Then it's over. Next, Holi. Next. So the mind is always elevated. And if the mind is elevated, there can't be fear then. It's systematic. It's well thought out. It's a master business plan. And it's working. It has worked and it will continue to work. We just need to appreciate the logic of it all. The logic of spirituality. Just try. Think big. I'll throw in the rest of the statements too. Puja, not puja, a puja is the same, has the same message behind it. Use the body, use the speech, use the mind to remember the divine. Who the divine is, it doesn't matter. It could be the Lord on Jatin's shirt, it could be Jesus Christ, it could be Allah, it can be any of the deities, it can be awareness, it could be the life principle, it could be nature, it could be whatever. But use the body, use the speech, use the mind to elevate one's vision. And that's what we do when we do puja. We use all of these equipments. And now, I don't need to get into the details of a puja. I'd like to focus on the philosophy of it. Anything that's complicated, you and I tend to neglect or deny. If a ritual is too complicated, we say it's not for me. If chanting is too complicated, it's not for me. Someone says get up too early, we say no. Right? We deny that which is too complicated, that which is too difficult. So if it's too complicated, make it simpler. If getting up at 5 a.m. is too difficult, get up at 5:30 then. Don't say, okay, I can't get up at 5 a.m., so I'm going to get up at 8 a.m. then. Some people are like, 8 a.m.? That's way too early too. So with these pujas, again, let us simplify this. In your books, we're going to do Padaka Puja on Monday, I believe, Monday morning. And it's been beautifully arranged that all of the mantras associated with the steps don't align. So there's a step for lighting the lamp, there's a step for offering water, but the mantras that are in the book don't align with that. Instead, those mantras are Guru Stotra. Right? We all know those mantras from Guru Stotra, or we can learn them, or we should know them. So while these steps are going on, chant Guru Stotra. We followed this in Niagara Falls once and everyone loved it. Last Guru Purnima, because I knew people don't know what these mantras mean. I truly don't know what these mantras mean. But Guru Stotram, everyone's been taught it, everyone knows how to chant it, everyone loved it. Right? It's the bhava, it's the sentiment that counts. My sister, for Mother's Day, she had this plate and she drew this ugly figure, stick figure, and wrote Happy Mother's Day. She didn't even know how to write back in the day. And she gave it to my mom. My mom still has that plate. And I think to myself, it's the most ugly plate ever created. But it means so much to my mother that she still has it 25 years later. It's the sentiment that counts. So the same thing with pujas. If we don't know the mantras and we don't know the exact sequence of steps, fine. Make it simple. Find a way to actually engage in it. For all of the study groups, right? Once a month, do Guru Padaka Puja together. Keep it simple. Like, don't be intimidated. Oh, Swamiji's there or I'm there and we don't know how to do the steps. Fine. Everyone's on the same plane. Do it. Or in your own homes, do it once a week. If you can't do it every day, do it once a week. Do it twice a year instead of 0 times a year. Make it simple and do it. Very nice quote from Swami Chinmayananda. Knowing is not doing, doing is doing. Right? I know that, and we just sit there. That's not doing. Doing is doing. I know I have cancer, so I just sit here. Now, game over. Right? I have to go see a doctor then. I have to engage in something to cure myself of it. Like the theme of G.I. Joe. What is the theme of G.I. Joe? Knowing is? Thank you. Knowing is half the battle. What is the other half? Actually engaging in the battle. Awareness is the first step but not the last step. Action is the last step. So, knowing is not doing, doing is doing.